Yeah, we know what you did, Winfred,
Flowery.
and the bake sale is a bust. And in fact, we're closing the church down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Many
it's
a church has closed over under-buttered biscuits.
that's what all the wars were about.
Mm-hmm.
The following program contains explicit material. If you are under 18 years old, please fuck off.
Welcome to Spinnin Yarns. I'm your host, Joe Amero, and I, for one, could have been dead many times over a long time ago. But for some reason, I'm still here. I've had a crazy life and met a ton of amazing people along the way who've inspired me. I'm going to invite some of these folks here to share some of their incredible and unbelievable stories with us. Who knows, we may even learn something along the way. There's way too much bullshit in this life. We need more real talk from real people. So sit back, chill out, and listen up, because we're spinning yarns.
Welcome back to Spinnin Yarns. I'm your host, Joe Amero. The world is a horrible place. That's why we make art. While America tries to ban drag queens, the Dalai Lama sits on up high in a dress, getting children to suck his tongue. Something he no doubt learned from the cardinals in the Catholic Church, who also wear dresses. Ajahnis Charley, they, them, that bitch, is a black, non-binary comedian and is the Just for Laughs new face of comedy, Canada. Well, one of them. But wait till you see how pretty they are. They're an alum of the Second City, and they star in the HBO miniseries Station 11 and Bell Media sitcom Shelved. They've story edited for upcoming comedy series Bria Mac Gets a Life, Stay Tuned, Dirts, and has written news satire for platforms This Hour Has 22 Minutes, The Beaverton, and Because News. If you hear a pun about butts in Canadian media, they likely had something to do with it. The National Film Board produced Ajahnis' award-winning directorial debut, I Am Gay. Spoiler alert, they are very gay. Their international hit solo show, Thoughts and Prayers, played at Toronto, Montreal, and New York sketch comedy festivals. Ajahnis is a co-founder and co-producer of the Untitled Black Sketch Project, Canada's first all-black sketch ensemble, unless Joe Pesci wants to join. Ajahnis is obsessed with Joe Pesci. I met Ajahnis a few years back, and we were lucky enough to have them join our improv troupe, Pepperoni Pizza Cats. And then we went on to play together in the Featured Players at the Bad Dog Theatre in Toronto. And as you're going to see here in a minute, beyond the talent, they are just a lovely, lovely, lovely person. And I'm very happy to have them on the show here today. How's it going? Thanks for coming on.
It's a pleasure. What's up? What's up? It's been a while.
Long? I haven't seen you the whole time, like since before the pandemic.
Yeah. A whole 3+ years.
Yeah.
Since the thing.
Twilight Zone.
Truly, it's the weirdest episode of Black Mirror I've ever seen.
Yeah, the worst. I know.
The worst episode.
It was the worst episode. I know. Oh man. Yeah. There was no reprieve. It was bad. And I just worked through the whole thing. I told him I only wanted to work nights because I thought that would be like the safest. For some reason in my mind, I was like, everyone will be asleep and it'll be less people. But it was like, the freaks come out at night. People were up all night. It was like popping all night. So it was like it didn't work. But you worked the whole time too. But you were like big and like you stayed on the online stuff, right? We were doing improv.
Yeah.
I know you from improv. We'll say that, right? Like right. So we were doing improv pretty like together at the beginning of the pandemic, and then End of the World, Black Mirror, season 4, and then you got busy online doing shows, right?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of Bad Dog Comedy Theater, and thank God for that, because that was like the only way I could like reasonably keep in touch with anybody. And like I'm an online person, but I'm also not an online person. So that being a dedicated space for some sort of social interaction
Mm-hmm.
was really nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I put myself out there for various non-traditional comedy things just to pass the time, and some things helped make that time pass. But I hope I didn't look too productive, because there was a lot of lying down watching movies I won't remember 2 weeks from now. There was a lot of that. So.
Yeah. The existential crisis behind the scenes was constant.
Plenty, yeah. Crises aplenty.
Yeah, no, but you're always busy. So, and I tried a couple. Like I didn't really go on any shows, or wasn't. I tried to watch a few in the very beginning, and it was like, yikes, right? I wasn't feeling it. It was like, no, I didn't want to see it. It was like, this isn't good. I wasn't a believer. I was, it's like, this is never going to work.
Yeah.
So I skipped it, and then I came in a couple because I did the telethon, which you helped with. You appeared in the telethon, the harm reduction telethon, and a couple people wanted me to come on and help promote it, right? Because it was a fundraiser and stuff. So I went and did a few, and it was cool. Just like the community kind of thing was still there, the feel of everybody there, but it was still so awkward and weird, and no laughter, which is nothing feeding you. So it's like every joke just falls dead, and it's
painful,
just like,
yeah,
it was rough. I couldn't, I love that they were doing it. I love that Bad Dog was on it and going live, and it was so pro, it was like, but yeah, I wasn't feeling that at all, too much for myself to get in the mix, but
it's a tall order to ask from any performer, but I think once we realize that we're really just doing this for ourselves, and if we can make each other in these Zoom rooms laugh, then that's just gonna have to do it for now until we can get something better.
Yeah, and it did feel good. Like I felt good that they reached out, and then I played a couple shows. I did like a storytelling show, and that sense of community warm me up still. So it still worked for that, for sure. I felt like, oh, I wasn't alone in the in the black mirror.
Yes.
The black hole of,
just floating in the void. Yeah,
of my own brain. And then it started to slowly come back, and then I never came back. I was stayed at working in shelters, and just like our team, kind of like a bunch of them had kids, and then like everybody just kind of like fell off, right? But you did not fall off, right? You kept going full steam. And I was like doing my research, because when I met you, you were on another improv team. You were on like Darth Vader Ginsburg, right?
I was doing a Curious George Washington.
Curious George Washington. Okay.
Right.
Assembly team. Assembly's an improv theater in Toronto and all over the world, right? They're everywhere, right? Mexico. Yeah. And more. I'm not sure where they've branched out all over the world, but you were in the assembly that's when I first met you. And was like, okay, this kid's we got to get this kid for Pizza Cats, right? We got to get him on our team. And then we met you, and you came over, you joined up with us, and but you were still going to University of Waterloo. And what exactly were you studying? It was like something crazy.
Oh yes. I was studying honors geomatics.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a degree I do not use in my day-to-day anymore. That's the study of basically using computer systems to make maps.
Right.
So it encompasses a lot, and uses some principles of geography and data to like help people make spatially informed decisions.
Right. Crazy,
very crazy.
I can't even imagine trying to study for that. Like your brain is beautiful. You're like definitely a beautiful mind, right? I remember you were doing one job, and I was looking at your stuff, and you worked for the ministry, all these ministries of Ontario, colleges and universities, transportation, agriculture, food. You had that one job, and you were counting cracks in the highway, right?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
God. When I was a pavement analyst for the Ministry of Transportation,
Yeah.
part of the job was to count and kind of classify the cracks that happen in provincial highways. So we would take out this big van called an ARAN, which is a big yellow and black van that basically shoots lasers out the bottom onto the highway. Those lasers bounce into the cracks, and then they bounce back up into the van. And I'm in the passenger seat on a computer, making sure all the data is coming in through cleanly and doing like preliminary look at the data that we're collecting. And you have to drive over a certain speed for it to work. So it's kind of like the movie Speed in a way, but much
Kind
lower
of.
stakes.
No
A
bomb.
little, no bomb.
Yeah, so much lower stakes. Laser truck is not as cool as it sounds, I'm sure, when you're sitting in it.
It is mundane as
Yeah.
heck, but also maybe the most stressful job I've had.
'Cause you can't miss a crack. You gotta you can't drop
the
speed.
crack. It's more that like the guy I was working with, he was not a bad guy, but he was kind of like a conservative talk radio kind of like hard-headed, like no messing around kind of boss, which
Fun. Yeah.
interesting character match for me.
Yeah.
So like I'm the exact opposite of everything that he was, but
it's like the worst buddy comedy of all time.
yeah, exactly.
Right? Oh man. But then you went to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
You were studying abroad, but you had another gig, and that was the water thing, right? What were you doing with the Netherlands water? Like counting cracks in the riverbed.
Career.
Now it's speed 2 on a boat.
It's speed 2. Yep. Oh my God, yeah. I drown if we go too slow.
Yeah. Did you get a better partner over there?
I got a different partner.
Yeah. Okay.
I think better, but it was still complicated.
Sticking to the formula.
Very much.
Yeah.
Big sequel energy.
Mm-hmm.
She was a professor and researcher at High Z University, the school I did this co-op term for in the Netherlands. I really did not want to go to the Netherlands because they paying an illegally low amount. Technically not illegal there, but
impossible.
An impossible amount. Europe is expensive, and I had a little bit of savings that I was very proud to have earned that I would have to blow to go. But I got matched with a job. I left the comedy scene for 4 months to basically monitor weather patterns in southern Netherlands to see what would help mussels and oysters grow best. Look for patterns in weather just to see. To inform mussel farming.
I love it. But it reminded me of it get your reference level. Like you're already smart out the gate, but to do these things, it reminded me of we studied with Kevin Whalen, right, through Second City, and he was telling us about when he studied with Joe Bill, like the legendary improv Joe Bill, and Joe said to him, "Oh, great, you're a funny guy. Like that's great. Like what else are you, right?" And that threw him for a loop. Like, oh, geez, I better be something more, right? And then he's like, you were on our team when you did that, when you took that break from comedy. That you were with us, and you were like, well, I'm just going to the Netherlands to, it was like amazing. And then you had that. You remember your chart of your shows?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second, because
absolutely,
that was nuts. Tell us about that.
Since the very first show I did in Toronto, have been keeping track of every performance I've ever done.
It's still going?
It's still going. I think I have the tab open right now. I was filling it out a little bit.
Share the screen.
Share the screen. Let me pull it up. Why not?
This is
Um,
crazy.
Okay, let me do this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Let's see, share screen. Oh, you'd have to enable me to
Oh
share.
no, that brings me into it. I don't know how to do
Is
that.
that too much?
This episode is brought to you by the Ministry of Colleges and Universities. No, I don't know how to let you do it. Security?
I could just
Screw
describe
it. Just tell us about it.
Yeah. I think there are about let's see, 530 entries now, 530 shows that I've done from 2017 to now, 2023. I broke this chart into it's a nice table where I keep track of the date and time, the location, the host of the show, what kind of comedy form I'm doing, a rating out of 10 of how good I felt that I did on that show, which might not be the healthiest thing, but I'm doing it anyway. And I kind of used my data science background to be able to look at all this information I'm collecting to get a sense of like, are there things that affect my ability to perform well? Like I can look at how well I feel like I've done over time by making like a time chart. I can just count like how many performances I do at each venue and compare that information.
Who is working like that? Like, no, I guarantee you're the only person in the world that ever did that. And you're still doing it because you're
and
still
I'm still doing
shows.
it. I don't know
Look
if
at
it's
this.
a disease or what. But yeah, this is from the beginning of the pandemic. I broke it into a different part. Um,
Oh man.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know let's see what's in here. I've been doing lots of stand up lately post
Yeah,
pandy.
I saw that. You're in, and you've been killing it.
It's an interesting way to stretch. I do like
I
there are
I
lots of
tr-
things that it offers. Yeah.
I tried it for a year, and it was when I was doing sketch and like live sketch and improv at the same time, and like it was just too much time away from home, right? So I want something had to go, so I let that go first because it was like not a supportive community. Like there's some sad, mean people I met along the way. I met a lot of good people, but coming from improv where it's just like a big hug and everyone's like, got your back, you know, like it's not like that over there. Like some maybe more in the community you're playing in. I see you're playing some shows that look like they would be more friendly than like the wing place in Brantford that I played at, that nobody told the people who were there for wing night that it was comedy night, you know.
That is like the major comedy faux pas. Like at the very least, give them a warning.
Yeah, 'cause they were just like insulted, like, you know, and then heckling you covered in wing sauce, like, what the fuck is this? You know, you're like, oh, yikes.
I get it. If I'm going down on some wings, like I need my personal space. Like I need mentally
a guy with a mic, like right at your face, like
that's hard to deal with.
Ooh, but you're having fun with it, and I was watching a clip tonight. I was trying to find some of your stand up, and I saw your bit about being a white sympathizer. That was funny.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What a thing to be my standout bit.
Oh, that's good. But I saw you played Yuck Yucks. Like that's not like a friendly place, really. Like how'd that go?
Oh yeah, that's a battleground for sure.
Yeah.
And it was like late at night. Everyone was drunk as hell, and I'm not the kind of person to like domineer and make people focus on me. I'm like, I'm gonna do my thing. If you want to choose to not pay your attention to me, then I'm the one being paid to talk. You're the one who paying to listen. So I win either way.
For sure. Yeah.
It is tough though.
Yeah. But you're playing a lot of shows with a lot of friends like around there too, that is like, like big support, right?
Yeah.
Which is good. And then so we did Cat's Cradle,
Kirsten
Mhm.
Rasmussen at the Bad Dog, and then we were featured players, I think, technically together, but you were never there because you're a rock star and had 100 other shows, right? Is that how
I
that went
tried
down?
to, I think it was,
A little bit of that,
I was
yeah.
there as much as I could be.
No,
I think a
you're
lot of it, the problem was for me really, is that those shows were Friday at 7,
Mhm.
and they mostly occupied a semester where I had classes in Waterloo, and they would end at like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And it's oftentimes a 3-hour trip to get from Waterloo to Bad Dog specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So much of it was just not being able to get there on time. And then there's the being part of 30 other troops at the same time, which is
Yeah. Too many
definitely
cracks
a
in the road.
factor. A
And
lot
then-
of cracks.
Yeah. But then you got put up for you got Just for Laughs, New Faces of Comedy, right? And then
Yes.
but then you got COVID and couldn't go play, right?
Yeah.
What is this? This is Shakespearean now. You know?
Whoa, truly a fable
Yeah.
for all time.
I was watching that like, no, it was like, yeah, no, you know, it was emotional.
yeah, it was full roller coaster.
Mhm.
I got asked to be part of the JFL New Faces. I started hitting a lot of mics, trying to build the set, get as tight and nice as possible. And then I flew over to Montreal a few days early. And I was like really working hard for it. So I felt kind of like physically exhausted, or at least I thought that. Like I felt chilly and weak, and I was like, oh, it must be all of the force-fed stand-up comedy I've been doing that's causing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the show on the Friday, and that morning I was like, okay, I feel more diseased than usual. I'm gonna just see what's happening.
You got the yucks.
I got the yucks.
Yeah, positive for the
My
yucks.
bones. Yeah.
Oh, so, but then you ended up able to do it again, or was it a taping situation or something? So they let you come back, or
Yeah, they were supposed to tape it on that day in Montreal, but well, the real thing was there was a fire in the venue that day, so nobody in the JFL lineup got to do a taping until Pete Holmes graciously gave up one of his shows to let all the JFL New Faces do the set. But it was a horrible show. I've heard. So like the crowd is expecting something totally different, and the performers are expecting something totally different.
right?
So in the end, I kind of feel like I won, because although I was so sick,
Mm-hmm.
I got to avoid a literal fire, a bad show.
It wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same day that the new Beyonce album dropped. So I was just in my
You're
hotel
busy.
room dancing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was taken.
Yeah.
I was booked up.
Yeah.
But in September, we got to come back together again and do the actual showcase as part of JFL Toronto.
And that show went great, right? Was
That
it
was so
a different
cool.
kind of fire, or what? Was it good?
Different kind of fire. It was water. It rained, and it was on an outdoor stage.
Okay.
And there was a lightning warning, so we almost got canceled again.
Yeah.
We
Epic.
just made it in.
Yeah.
Very, battle against man versus nature kind of narrative we're talking here.
Yeah. The elements are all there. I love it. And then I think it was right around then, or there, sometime around there, that I saw your National Film Board of Canada documentary, I Am Gay, right? Is this around the time this comes out?
Yeah, this is,
And this thing was brilliant. It was beautiful, authentic, short little film where you're coming out to your family, and it's your real family. It's a real doc, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a camera in their face, and you're filming their reactions to you officially coming out to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I loved every second of it. Everyone did. It was beautiful. But the funny part, the twist, was that, okay, I'm coming out to my family, but now I'm gonna try and get my mom to tell me whether she thinks I'm up top or a bottom. Now that I've got her on live on the camera, hilarious, right? Like that was like I was waiting for some kind of, and then it was like there it is.
That's me. That's the
Yeah,
real me
yeah,
popping
yeah.
out.
Coming out to your family as a comedian is never easy. That was awesome. And then I kind of lost track because I got busy with work and I stopped paying attention, right, to anything. And then but I
I
saw
can forward you the spreadsheet anytime.
yeah,
You want to get caught
I want
up.
a copy of that. I have to study it. If I'm ever gonna come back, I have to at least see who's running late and where the best hosts are and how you felt, right? Then I can somehow gauge that information for myself. I don't know how, but I'll create a news sheet about how the two how it can pertain to me and my none of that's gonna happen. But I lost track of everybody. But then you'd keep popping up and you were doing the 27 Club, right? This is your one person show where you're I think you're working with Tom Hearn on this, right?
Yes. Yeah, I did 27 Club with buddies in Bad Times Theater. It was more of a workshop than a final show, but it was the first time I got government funding. I applied for a grant and I got it to work on comedy, which was like a breakthrough in terms of how I can access support to grow what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah, and this was Ontario Arts Council.
This was a Canada Council of the Arts.
Okay, even better, bigger. Coast to coast, nationwide. And then did 27 Club turn into Thoughts and Prayers?
I performed Thoughts and Prayers first in 2020, just before the pandemic, actually.
Okay.
In 2020 Toronto Sketch Comedy Festival. It was the last show I performed before the breakdown of the universe. And then went into lockdown, did 27 Club, and used some of the 27 Club material back in a new version of Thoughts and Prayers, which I'm developing further. That's kind of how that.
And that's what you took to New York recently. You were doing Thoughts and Prayers, right? And
yeah.
Is that what you did in Sketchfest this year?
I did a new show in Sketchfest this year because no one told me no, and I can't seem to polish a stone into a gem. I just collect rough stones, but
well, that sounds like a rock show. That's good.
It is, yeah. It is a rock show. It's a nice rock collection.
Yeah, it's raw. But I love how when I saw you, even when you went to New York, you're doing Thoughts and Prayers. It's like Ajahnis Charley and friends. It's not even just like you've got other people on there showcasing other people with you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant. And then you did man, you did all kinds of shit. You did a web series called Tokens.
Yeah. I got asked to play a small part in the web series. Season 2 of Tokens. It came out recently, and hopefully we get a season 3. I'm sure it's happening. I'm gonna manifest that. I play a little social media ninja.
Okay.
Trying to help these firms game up their social media skills.
Tokens. We're gonna look for that. And it was Station 11. Was that a film?
That's a miniseries. That's an HBO show.
That's the HBO show. Okay. What was the film? I know you had a part in a film.
Yes, I had a part in a film called Suze, by a directing duo, Dane and Lindsay. It's like a Canadian indie film about a woman who is handed a a ball of chaos of a teenager to take care of, and I play his like friend from night school who should be babysitting but gets way too stoned to keep track of anything. So
Suze, like the name, like two Susans. Suze.
Yeah. Suze,
cool.
Suze,
I'll look for that. And then what's shelved?
Yes, Shelved is a weekly a new series out on CTV, which is about a library in Parkdale and like the ins and outs and machinations of what goes on in a lesser funded and a lesser appreciated branch.
Now in real life, I know that library. That's Mazarick Cowan. And I used to work out at the community center across the street because it was free, but it was difficult. It was good to work out at a free gym, but it was difficult because some people went there to work out and some people went there just to take a shit, you know, and maybe live in the change room a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So I know that library. Parkdale is a planet unto itself. And then stand up the whole time. You're still doing stand up, but then you're writing for Beaverton, right?
Yeah.
You're writing for This Hour Has 22 Minutes, right? These are big Canadian players. This is the big time in Canada, right? This is the shit right here, right? That's the top of the game over here. Yeah, the institutions of, for sure. And what's that like? Is that cool?
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's like Beaverton is really a sweet way to hone my sarcastic voice and like find out how my silly antics fit into that kind of space. And 22 is it's a place. It's a complicated place because that's a show that's trying to appeal to all of Canada across all ages at all times. And so many a writer has gone into the space with the challenge of finding out how to work within the constraints of what the show needs to be, or what the showrunner feels the show needs to be. And I'm no different. That's also a challenge for me. But because there's such great players, like especially the new talent like Abba Emukwando, Chris Wilson, Stacey McGonigal up there, who are cut from a closer comedy cloth.
Yeah,
that helps me have something to write towards.
And you're always up for a challenge anyway, and that's just, you're there, you're gonna get something on, you know. You're making it to air. And some of that Stacey, she's a Second City, right? Were you on Tour Co for a minute, or not anymore, or still
for a hot second?
I thought so. I thought I saw like one picture and then it was like, I don't I can't keep.
Bye. I'm a lot. I'm a handful.
Yeah. D&D Live with Sex T Rex is happening right now. Black on black stand up brought by produced by Untitled Black Sketch Project. Tell us about that, because that, I remember when you announced that, and that was like then Black Mirror, and it was like
wild how
to be continued.
That was spurred from conversations in Cassie Akbana, who's currently a Second City main stage performer icon. She and I would have conversations every Toronto Sketch Comedy Festival, being like, why hasn't there been an all-black sketch troupe yet? We should do something about it. Okay, we're lazy. See you next year. We did that for like 3 years in a row till we were finally like, okay, let's sit down. Let's put this together. Let's arrange. Let's ask the funniest Black people, aka the funniest people we know, to come together and do this thing. And they said yes. We got some amazing people together, and we've been working on, well, one, just supporting each other in general and like going to see movies with each other. But we're also trying to define what exactly it is we want to put out into the world. We know we want to do quality comedy, and we've gone to do a couple shows, and we're this group that's like, we're here. This is what Canada is looking like now.
Yeah, I love it. And it's just like the Avengers, you know, and that's your show. Like, take your Canada Arts Council grant money right there. That talent in the room, that's your show,
Mm-hmm.
and
100%.
yeah, and that hour I have 60 full minutes,
That will be a real hour.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
And I know it'll happen. I remember I went to see you at a show at Bad Dog Theater, and it was a one-person sketch kind of theater show, and that was supposed to be your coming out to the community, right?
Yep.
And I zipped in there last minute and went by myself and just sat and watched because I had to see the show. And when we're leaving, it was a hilarious show. And we're leaving, and everyone's getting up and ready to go. And the woman in front of me gets up and just looks to her friend and just says, "That kid is talent on toast." And that was, she said it all, right? Like, it was like, it always stuck with me every time I see you popping up on all these things. I'm like, talent on toast, talent on toast. There they go. And yeah, that was, and then we drove to Detroit. We went to play the Detroit Improv Festival with the Pepperoni Pizza Cats in the old Jeep Patriot. We took the cruise, and I remember you turned me on to Paul Tompkins' improv podcast. What was it? What's the name of his show? He has a couple shows, I think.
He has a couple shows. There's the Paul F. Tomcast. There's the
improv one where they
Comedy Bang Bang.
No.
There's the Improv for Humans. I can't remember. There's so many. I can't remember which exact one it was. There's too many.
It was like pure improv. Like they would do like an improv, make like, it was like a radio, like an old radio play.
I think that might have been the Paul F. Tomcast.
Oh, it had a weird name, and he played it at the festival that year. It doesn't matter.
Yes, with the Tawny Newsome, that might have been Matt Besser's podcast. Oh, I don't.
No, it was
Spontaneous Nation.
Yes.
It's been so long. Yeah.
But I listened the shit out of that until I couldn't even handle it anymore. Right? It was really good. But it got me thinking. Podcasts. Improv. Charts and statistics. You know what works and what doesn't work. I don't know if you've seen this show, but it's pretty chaotic. It's just like find a friend you love and spin yarns, right? Just shoot the shit, and it's all organic, and it works because it's just friends talking. But I've got no structure, no questions prepared. A little bit of research if I have to, but like, I thought it would be cool if you could help me bring some kind of improv element that I could use in the show. Like, what could you spring on a guest that's not going to be too too high level for someone who's uninitiated in the cult of improvisation.
I think I got something for you.
What do you got?
Okay. Do you remember the game Mind Meld?
Yes, I do with my kids. They love it.
Yes, it's the best game. It's a sport to me. What if we did a little bit of podcasting inspired by Mind Meld, where I come up with the word, you come up with a word, we count down from 3, and we try to say the middle ground of our 2 words at the same time. So just to explain for the listener, so if my word is bumblebee and you had a word Detroit, we'll count down from 3 and try to think of the word that falls between bumblebee and Detroit. We have to think of what the other person's going to say and say the same thing at the exact same time. So that would be, you got something?
I think so.
Yeah, I got something. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Zoo. ICP and zoo. So I have 2 options of where to go for this. We could either pick one of those 2 things and have a short conversation about it, and then come back to the game and try to find the middle ground again, and then keep going like that.
Yeah.
Or we could keep going until we find the middle ground and then have a conversation about that as the subject.
I love that. Or you just have the option of if you don't like those two, go again. And then even if it's not a match, oh, can we talk about these two things? Right.
Yeah.
I
We could do that.
I like that. And I picked ICP because it rhymes with Bumblebee, but then you landed on Zoo. And then I said ICP, they're clowns. Then from Zoo, I went to Circus. I was going to say Tigers, Detroit Tigers. You might have said Tigers.
Tigers. That's a good place. Zoo and ICP. I think I would have gone with I would have said like Bonnaroo, like a music festival where you're all kind of caged in and kind of like animals. I feel like that's where I would have gone. I've never been to Bonnaroo though, so I don't know how animalistic that one tends to be.
I don't know. It looks crazy. I used to go when I was a kid to all the Lollapalooza shows up at Molson Park in Barrie, and that would they started at the C&E Grandstand in Toronto. The old C&E Grandstand was the first Lollapalooza, and they still do Lollapalooza in Chicago, but this was like a touring show, and it was like being trapped in. They're like, dump your water out, you can't eat, like it was like a prison camp. We come in, you have, you're buying this $10 water, or back then, whatever it was, $5 was crazy for water, right? It was a long time. I'm old, but that's a good one. Mind meld. The kids love it. They call it mind melt because they think it's our minds melting together, but that's same shit. Good. Yeah. But I like that for the show. I could try that with people. And like some people who aren't even playful. Well, most of my friends are pretty cool. Everyone's pretty open, but I could see someone who you proposes to someone and they'd be like, what the fuck? What?
Give them like 3 rounds and they'll be
having fun
for some more. Yeah. It's such a
that's good.
Nice way to connect.
That's really good. That'd work. Let's try another one and do it and see if it works in real time.
Gotcha. Okay. I have a word. Do you have a word?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We will say it on the count of 3, and then we'll try to get into that middle ground.
Let's go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Toast.
Plastic and
toast. Got it.
I have something. Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Cheese
margarine.
Whiz. Oh, okay.
Same world.
Yeah.
3,
2, 1. Spread.
We got it.
Mine's melded in 3. And then we have to talk about spread.
Spread.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say spread?
Okay, what's the condiment game like for you? Like, what's your favorite condiment? Let's get in.
Damn, I'm gonna have to say margarine, like base coat. Like I'll put it on a peanut butter sandwich under my peanut butter.
Over butter, margarine.
Yeah, I go margarine over butter. I think that's economical choice, but I do like butter, and I think it's more fattening for you. So we get like a vegan margarine spread, or what's that? Oh, I forgot. I'm not going to plug another. I'm always plugging products. No one wants to sponsor me, and I'm not plugging them anymore.
I mean, one day, once they see this, they'll be like,
I could get Earth Balance. Spinning Yarns, brought to you by Earth Balance. The spread of spreads. I don't know.
Earth Balance. That
right? That
sounds like a recycling plant, but I'll eat it.
It's clean. It's the vegan kind of margarine, but I think margarine is number 1 because I would put that on. I wouldn't make a sandwich without margarine unless it was. No, I don't think there would be that's like if I'm having bread, toast or bread, I'm having margarine base coat, even if it's like a meat thing with mayo or mustard. You got to have the margarine. I don't know what it is. Even on peanut butter, I won't go just if you do peanut butter. Just peanut butter and bread, dry. Margarine coat, you're lubricated.
And you know what? I would even call margarine talent on toast.
Yes, that's what. Yeah,
margarine
brought to you by Earth Balance. Talent on toast. Yes. What about
That's so
you?
interesting.
Yeah.
I you know what? I am a butter stan, but not as a spread. I just loved baked goods and
Oh,
butters like
yeah.
queen.
Yeah. You
Um,
you have to have it if you're making cookies.
Absolutely
You can
necessary.
taste it, and when it's real butter, it makes it's a
When
make
you
or break.
skimp on the butter, it destroys the cookie. I would rather have an overly buttery cookie than an underly buttery cookie. I don't know what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
opposite of buttery is, but probably dry.
yeah. We know what you did, Winfred, and
Floury.
the bake sale is a bust. And in fact, we're closing the church down.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Many
it's
a
a
church has closed over under buttered biscuits.
that's what all the wars were about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Russia, Ukraine. I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah. Uh, World War II. That
Yeah,
was a butter dispute.
that
It was
was a
big butter dispute.
slippery. Yeah, that was a mess.
um, that's why why America invaded Iran and
Yeah,
Iraq.
yeah,
For the
margarine.
butter supply.
Yeah,
Margarine, butter, the whole thing.
yeah, it was
Respect.
canola for their canola supply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's the oil they wanted.
yeah, that was the oil. Yeah.
You're getting your alternate history here live on
You
Yarn
want the
Spinning.
truth, man. You come to Spinnin' Yarns. We
Mhm.
we speak the truth. Um I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, like at my house we had butter. There was
Yeah.
butter. It was like a butter dish on the
Really?
table, It was like it
Okay.
was there. My grandma had butter out, right?
Mm.
And then if you go to my dad's house, that's the first time I saw margarine because my parents were separated. So sometimes I go to my dad's.
Mm.
And then when he had this wife, she would buy like the cheapest margarine in like the giant Tupperware.
Oh yeah.
Right. It was
Yeah.
like a Rubbermaid margarine, but it was like white margarine. They weren't even trying to be butter anymore. It was just like it was like Crisco oil, it was just gross. And they're like, put that on that is, not talent on toast. I don't know what that was, but it took up the whole shelf of the fridge. And it was
Yeah.
like, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Just full bricks of whatever substance that
Yeah.
is.
Lard, right? It was just
Cold
like,
lard.
yeah, cold white lard. Not good.
But a good margarine changes the game on bread for sure.
It
I can
does.
agree
Yeah.
there.
It's a pass. Like even yeah, over butter. And it's so expensive. I mean, you're gonna pay $8
My whole life savings just to
in
have
butter.
in butter. It's
Oh
not
my
right.
Lord.
It's
See?
not right.
See, that's good. Now we know as seasoned improvisers, we know this has been dead for a long time. We would have saved each other a long time ago and tried maybe a new mind meld.
Mm,
Yeah. To get off the butter. We could have done that. What is there anything you want to do another mind meld, or what else could work? Is there something else that there must be
what
something
could
else?
work? Word associations common. I don't know how Zip Zap Zop works with two people. I feel it doesn't. What's an improv? Well, really just a matter of yes anding. How do we yes and
Everything. I guess
butter?
that's just conversation is improv in itself, right?
Yeah, that's
The
the thing.
mind
I
meld
think
is the way to go. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it with people for sure.
I'm so excited. I want to know the results of every
Well,
meld, how many
well,
rounds it takes.
you're gonna get full credit. Now you're gonna go down in history as the creator of Mind Meld because we're gonna intro the segment, right? We're gonna play, Now it's time for Talent on Toast, brought to you by Earth Balance. And here Ajahnis Charley's Mind Meld.
I have never had something named after me, so I'm very honored
Even
to
if
receive this distinction.
even if it's something, that someone else created 50 years ago. See that, yeah.
My name's the one that's on it, so sorry.
Sorry about your luck. You're lovely to come on. I love to see you. I love you very much. I wish you all the best vibes, and you don't need it, but you know, you're going straight to the top, and I'm happy just to have this time with you, you know?
Me too. It's been so long, and I'm so glad to hear that you're doing well. We're catching up. And I miss those drives to Detroit. I do.
I know.
So
it was fun. I can still see your head poking out of that curtain.
I
Simple gag. Brilliant in its simplicity. What's next for you? What do you got on the horizon? What's going on?
Next?
More
Dinner
stand-up?
immediately. I'm gonna have some din. I don't know if I'm gonna have any margarine, but I'm gonna try to get some margarine on this dinner, whatever it is. And then what's next is hopefully more stand-up. I'm gonna do a full production of Thoughts and Prayers in September at Theater Center. So everyone stay tuned for that. And honestly, it's break time. I want to take it easy this April. I want to move to Taiwan for a couple months.
Okay.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah.
I think the road leading up to here has been one that goes up and down. It's been a roller coaster, and I want to keep the ride going. So I think that's what's next for me.
Do that.
Yeah,
AJ,
I'll do that.
You are truly talent on toast. I love you, my friend. Thank you for being here.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
I love you too. And have me back anytime.
You're the best. And hey, be well. I'll see you soon, okay?
Yes, so soon.
Okay. Peace.
Okay. Take care.
Ajahnis Charley, talent on toast. One of the greats, one of the ones to watch. A rising star indeed. And just lovely. Just a lovely person. Lovely to talk to. Lovely to play and create with. I can't wait to see what wonderful things they're going to do in their life and career, inside and outside of comedy. I wish them all the best. See you next time on Spinnin' Yarns.
This has been Ajahnis Charley's
Mind Meld.
brought to you by Earth Balance. That's talent on toast.
Spinnin' Yarns is brought to you by Hi-Fi Umbilical Productions. We're 100% DIY with zero tolerance for intolerance. Spinnin' Yarns is recorded on stolen land in front of a live studio audience. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Gmail, and Linktree at Yarn Spinnin'. Please like, follow, and share to show your support. We're building this together. Spinnin' Yarns is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else you kids go for podcasts these days. Check out our Patreon if you'd like to help out the show, and you can always find us on the web at our landing site, joeamero.com.
If you'd like to be a guest on the show, reach out. Let's shoot the shit. We're just spinning yarns, connecting with respect and respecting the connections. Peace be with you, and let the peace be known.